Last count I can remember, I think there's 714 miles of trail built as of today, and then about 500 and some miles of connecting routes, because the trail itself is over 1,200 miles long. There's a sign that says on each one of the posts, that's one that's not too far away from me over here, I think each one of them says, you know, this trail is maintained entirely by volunteers. You know, there wouldn't be an Ice Age trail without volunteers. My name is Mark Richikowski. I am a volunteer with the Dane County chapter and the trail maintenance coordinator here with the Ice Age Trail Alliance. So last week there were some big storms that came through Dane County. We make a really big effort here, especially locally in the Dane County area. If we have a storm event, we want to get the trail cleared as quickly as we can. Two things today. We are going to spend some time with Oscar here in Woodland Tools. We're going to, just so happens there's a tree down, so we're going to take some loppers, hand saws, see what we can do with that. Apparently people are crawling underneath it, that's what the report said. So I want to see, you know, get it to a point where a sawyer can come in, they just need to go chop, 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 and can clear it out. Probably we'll get to some trail maintenance over on the switchbacks that are kind of leading up from the big prairie on the bottom. There's another spot that Denny pointed out, Denny Kneff, kind of above that we could grab the hand tools back out, cut a honeysuckle, a few other things out, help him for mowing. So that's kind of what we're going to work on today. Woodland Tools was generous enough to give the Dane County chapter a donation of loppers and hand saws and nippers and a couple other tools. And we use these a lot. So I'm no sawyer, so I'm sure there's some of this that's a little bit dangerous at some point, but a handsaw is definitely going to go through these birch. So we probably take off the ones, you know, the lower sections and work our way up and see what happens, and just take it slow. But I definitely think we can do this with handsaws and do some lopping down there. Yeah, and if we get it better than it is now, you know, but I can see where they're saying people are probably going around or they're going through that. So we can make that better at least until we get someone out here with a chainsaw. Like, it's, you know, it's relatively a big diameter, but it's birch, so it's probably going to cut really well. We just want to be mindful that we don't hurt ourselves. I think we're in pretty good shape then.
Okay. So you want to go in segments, or do you want just kind of cut that freestanding one
I think
up here and just pull it down?
There's probably two ways to do it. We probably could just lop some stuff off. Yeah, so the chapter takes these. We appreciate the donation of the tools. You know, we put our duct tape on them because we use these a lot in the winter. Or you throw one, not throw one, but you know, put one into the woods when you're working next to you and be able to find it again. When we're doing trail work, you know, we're using this. We're using the hand saws. We're using this kind of stuff because usually this, you know, woody stuff is growing up along the trail. If we're doing maintenance, we want to be able to cut it using both of these things. So it's kind of like stewardship uses these one season, we use these in a different season. A little bit of overlap between that, but they get used throughout the year. Cracks and someone's in the wrong place, because we got that too.
Right.
Rather
well, that's
have
what I'm saying, like, if somebody were to just jump on this instead of just stepping over it. Problem solved.
Yeah. Alright, well I guess we can cut the rest. I think we're done here with this piece of the project. So while I love doing maintenance work, I also just like getting people excited and knowing more about the trails so that they can figure it out and enjoy it in their own way. In a couple of years, there'll be a trail building project to get us down to KP, and then hopefully there'll be a very thoughtfully laid out boardwalk that will go across the wetlands down here. So yeah, it's the big hill right here, but you'd come down, because right now you walk back into Cross Plains and then you take some back roads and you come out and use a walk on KP, which is, you know, a little dangerous.
Yeah.
So here you don't have to cross it, hopefully, and you'll come over to here.
That'll take off like a mile and a half of Ice Age trail.
It will. I mean, that's what happens though when we add new Ice Age trail. Sometimes the Ice Age trail gets longer, sometimes it gets shorter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think when I started hiking the whole trail, I forgot what the number was because I was tracking it at Potawatomi State Park. That's like the end on how they do the numbering. And now it's like a different number.
Yeah.
So, but it's like 28 miles different or something. I forgot which way it is. I think it's 20 miles longer. But yeah, so that trail's always changing. The trail, as it gets built, the water should shed off naturally. We kind of build it that way so that it's called hydrologically invisible. At some point, the trail stops being hydrologically invisible, mainly because people just use it. You know, when you build a trail, especially on a slope like this, all the water would be going downhill, and when it hits the trail, it'd be hydrologically invisible. That's the terminology that we use. It would just go right into the trail and right off, and it should kind of just follow the natural slopes. So now what happens, you know, in spots like this, is the water literally, unless it's really pouring and gets high enough on the trail and it goes off, it's going to run, you know, down the trail, and probably, you know, about where our feet are. At some point in here, it's going to actually exit off because there's not much of a berm. So this is an extreme example because this log has made a convenient spot for, you know, dirt just to build up and build up. So there's no way for the water to go off anymore on this spot. So that's what we're trying to do, is trying to find, if you can, the spot in the trail. It's not always like the spot that's right next to it. You know, like this is an obvious berm, but the low point might actually be here, and you might want to actually shave a little bit extra off to get that water off. Otherwise, it still will travel down the trail. And Constantine, do you want to give Greg a demo on how to do this? Find a spot, since yeah. Ooh, is this easy work? That is a good question. It depends. For a lot of people, it's a chance to build skills, and what starts off as something that might be challenging your first time out, when you've, you know, come to 10 maintenance days or 10 work days, the statewide events, you find that all of a sudden you actually, you know, kind of know how to do this stuff, and then it becomes pretty enjoyable.
Get to appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah.
See the work you've done.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit of practicing.
Bending part. Put that yet when I mow, because there's the big woody stuff's out. So I'm gonna call that good. Yeah, it's a start at least. I can clean up my mess. It's interesting to see how people who hike together, people who volunteer together, the trail really brings people together in different ways across the state. A lot of us who volunteer are from Wisconsin, and it's one of the only, maybe the only national scenic trail. There's other long distance trails, but I think it's the only national scenic trail that's entirely in the state of Wisconsin. So it's kind of like our trail here as Wisconsinites, and it really connects the entire state.
I don't think I've ever heard that word before.
Don't worry, I didn't either until Ice Age Trail.
Or
Yeah,
is
that's
it
a kind of.
It's the type of technical jargon we're famous for, you know? Berm, back slope, sawyers.
Well, this is the third one of these we've done, and they continue to be successful. So I thank everybody for coming out. Thanks everybody for taking the time to be part of the, well, to clearing a tree, most importantly. Yeah, and we debermed a little bit, and everything's better. But 19 chapters across the state where volunteers, you know, actively maintain all the different pieces of the trails. And I look forward to encouraging other people to get out to join us on the trail as volunteers.